Hello, this will be an unboxing and assembly of my Harbor Freight 6x9 combination sander. This is a newer model, item number 61750. There's only 10 reviews of it, and they all are good. So they've made improvements over the other model, which actually had decent reviews as well. So I figured I would get it, and I saw some belts on Amazon for metal that people have put on this and liked it. I know metal sanders usually run higher speed and have higher horsepower. They also have higher prices. This I got with a coupon for about $170, and I figured for $170 I could always use a nice sander in my shop. The box that this came in was in pristine shape. I don't know if it's because it's a new model and hasn't been banging around the back of Harbor Freight. I'm not really sure. And it seems like it's packed pretty well. So, yeah, the package seems pretty well. So we have the instructions. I'm one of those people that actually read these things. So I was going to take a look at that. And just start laying pieces out. This thing was boxed very well. The box is a heavy-duty box. It was packaged very well. The sander itself looks like it's pretty much assembled. It's nested in styrofoam, wrapped in plastic. It had parts in there that were nested very well, with covers on them. The instructions were right on top with warnings about, what to lift up and things like that. So, so far, the boxing looks like a good deal. The easiest way I found to get that out of there, that's kind of heavy, is to lay the box on the side and bring it out. And then there's a big note there. So if you get to this point, don't throw the box out. There's more underneath the foam. There's the part that was under the foam. Okay, all the hardware came in about 2 little bags, and they were not organized. I've had some other stuff I bought from Porter Cable where everything was organized, but no, there was just 2 bags. This stuff is all for the feet. That was in one bag, and then this stuff was all in another bag, and that's for the stand, I guess, and everything else. One thing that makes it a little bit confusing is if you go back, I actually am one of the guys that read the instructions and take a look, make sure all the parts are there. If you take a look on the last page of the parts list, they use multiple numbers for the same thing. So like on the feet, they're using a 6mm washer. They have it in 3 different places and 3 different part numbers, so I'm not going to go through that and see what the count is. If I need more, I'll go around the hardware store. So, but anyway, at this point, I have it separated, and then what I do is I take the parts I need for each part of the assembly and put them in a magnetic tray and just put that together. So, but anyway, I hope everything's here. I'll find out when I'm done. First thing it has you do is take these side supports and put the horizontal supports on. What I'm going to do is, it specifies you have to put them on the inside, which is kind of like a no-brainer, but they go in right here. So what I'm going to do is put them in, put the washer in, and a nut. And I'm just going to put everything finger tight and get this together. The metal on this is a little thicker than, well, it's not thicker than I would expect it. It's as thick as I would expect it to be. Some of the reviews of the old one said the metal was kind of chintzy. I guess they listened to that too and beefing this up a little bit. What I was going to do now is just set these here. these vibrate loose, I'll put nylocks in it. And I'm going to get more hardware and put that over there. Okay, now what I'm going to do just to ease my assembly is I'm going to lift this up, put the other side down on top of the box there, and set this on top of it. That's the one-man assembly method. Okay, the next step is to put the feet on. Take the bolt, washer, foot, hole, washer, nut. Nothing great to it. That's not going anywhere. And we do the rest. Okay, it's first time standing up. It's pretty rigid, and you got to remember everything's still finger tight at this point. I wait till I put everything on, and then I'll lock everything down on a nice level floor. Okay, the next step is to put that on that and secure it with 4 bolts that go up through these holes into threaded holes in the bottom of the stand there. What I just did was I measured it. It's a metric. It's 8mm by 1, and I just took 2 studs of that size. I'm going to put 1 in each corner, and that way when I set it up on here, it will have a guide. Okay, now I'm just going to lift that up and set it on there. There you go. So it's on. Okay, what I'm going to do is put the bolts in the sides over there, so the sides without the studs first, and I'm going to just put them finger tight, and then I'm going to put them in the ones with the studs, and just run them all down. Now on the bolts to go through into the bottom of the sander, you put the 8mm bolt lock washer and a big washer, and that just goes up and in like this. And put that all the way around and tighten them up. And now what it's going to do, I have all these in, it's going to tighten up all these, everything, and make the stand secure. Okay, now you remove these 4 bolts and put on a dust cover. The image is clear. I stopped filming earlier and went in to take a look at the video that I did so far and realized that there was something on the lens, I guess. The image quality hopefully is better now. Right now, I don't know if I'm bumping the camera or not. I'm literally right up against the handle that you use to tilt. I might reverse that. It's always fun working with a camera between you and what you're doing. So, you gotta put the camera and then reach around. And then just snug them up. Not going to go nuts on them, they're plastic. If anything happens and they vibrate out, I'll put a little bit of blue Loctite on them. that shouldn't go anywhere. Okay, now you put the pulleys on. Pulleys are put on these shafts right here. It's 4mm set screw. In order to set this one here, they want you to bring in something like this and tighten it in. So, but let me get the tape off. I'm right over the camera, so you probably hear me breathing here. And that has goop on it from the tape. Let me get that key out. Let me see if I can get this clean. Okay. Key goes back in. What the heck, I'll put it in this way. Make it easier to slide on. Straight up. And then the race size goes in the back. Let's see how this works. Yeah. That's going to be fun. I'll put that in. I'll loosen it up so this goes in further, I hope. There you are. I'll just adjust that. And then I put this one on. It's going to be the same thing. It's the smaller of the two. 4mm. Pull this tape off. Be ready for stickum. So I'm going to put that right onto something. And get another paper towel. Clean that up. Okay, I cleaned everything up. Slide it together. And then I was just going to snug this up a little bit. So, okay, now it says to line these two pulleys up. So here's a straight edge here. Back these out. Put it like that. Nowhere near. That's in too far. All I'm doing is just putting it up there and then pulling it up. It's a little bit high. That's good. And there you go, it's in. Check that again. That's lined up. Tighten it here. And tighten it here. And that's tight. The next step is to put the belt on. In order to get around here, you have to shift the motor this direction. In order to get that to move, you have to loosen up the 4 bolts that hold the motor down. This isn't threaded below. This goes into a slot. So you have to actually go up underneath, and there's corresponding nuts. Then you have to put a wrench on this side, ratchet on the other side, loosen them all up, slide this over, put the belt over, pull it back, and tighten it down. Here are the 4 corresponding nuts underneath. It's pretty straightforward. You come under here and just put a wrench on them and loosen them up. Now I'm going to shift the motor, put the belt on, and then slide the motor over to the proper tension and tighten these down. Okay, now that it's loosened, push the motor all the way over, put that on there. Still doesn't quite make it, so you're going to have to walk it on. Pull the motor back, hold it. Don't make this too tight. I usually just snug these things up. And then start tightening those bolts back down. Hold it with a ratchet. Okay, I actually had to adjust this motor again because it was somewhat tilted. And the way you check for that is to actually put a straight edge across here. And when it was tilted, you could see light under this end. That's the way it would be tilted because the other end doesn't have the pulley on it. You would tend to cock the motor. But basically you had light under this end. So right now, the pulley's pretty much in line. Okay, next step is put the sanding plate on. It's cast aluminum. One of the improvements on this one is it's balanced. The big thing you have to do when you put this on is line up that key. And then if you get that right, it should just slide right on. And then you take your 4mm extended reach Allen drive, put it up here through the dust collector, and then just snug it up. There you go. That's on. Okay. Before I button everything up and put covers on this and other things, I just wanted to fire it up and run it and make sure everything's working. Makes a lot of noise, but what I noticed is if I put my feet on the side, that's the flat plate on the side of this thing resonating. So I'm going to put something there to dampen that. But that's not the motor, that's just this resonating. It probably would have been good if they put this in a bead roller. Okay, when I got this thing, this belt was tracking pretty good. I'm going to turn it on and show you how to adjust it so that it tracks properly. If you loosen these two locking nuts, one on either side, you'll see this little wheel here that you can turn this way to loosen a side and this way to tighten a side. It's basically a nut on a bolt. If you loosen a side, the belt will track towards that side. If you tighten any side, it will track away from that side. So I was just going to show how that works. Right now the tension's pretty good. So, and this thing was tracking pretty good when I got it. So I think I just tweaked it a little bit. Let's turn it on. It's not whisper quiet, but it's a lot better than it was. Okay, so this is loose. So if I put this in there, I don't want to get my fingers in there, and if I loosen this by turning it counterclockwise, this belt will come towards us, which you can see. And then if I tighten it, it'll go the other way. So what I do is I just adjust it so that that belt tracks right in between. Okay, and I'll lock it down. So there. Okay, I was just digging for the dust collector to put that on, and look what I found. An extra long Allen wrench. For tightening up the Allen keys on the pulleys here. So no need to buy any special tools. Well, the next step I was going to do is put in a dust collector. So I was going to loosen this screw here with my newly found Allen wrench. And the screw here. They came on it. And this is a new feature that people requested that they added to this. So let me get that all lined up. And I guess this is an appropriate place to put it because you need it to put this on. Okay. That goes there. The next one's going to be fun. Unless I stand this up and do it from the back, but okay, that's just finger tight. I'm going to do the paper trick in this. Don't need that big a piece of paper. I'm just going to take that, put it over here, and shove that on there. There. That'll hold it on. And then hopefully I can line this up. Actually, shoot, yes, I can line it up. I'll go like that. get it in, pull it into position, and take it in. You can hear the paper turning. Okay, tighten that down, pull it out and get the paper out of there. Okay, the next thing I was going to do is put the dust cover on. That clicks on there real nice. And then I'll just get one of these started. Again, this is the add-on that people requested, so Harbor Freight put it on. So I'm not tightening anything. I'm just putting them just not even finger tight till I get them all in. Actually, I would have done that one next, but I'd be in your way. Ah, the heck with it. I'm going to be in your way. Let's see if I can work around you. Okay. So far, we have the exact right number of screws. As long as there's no other screws required, all the nuts, bolts, and everything so far have been exactly what we need. There's no leftovers, and right now there are no leftovers. I just used the last one. Okay, just go around. Don't go crazy on this, just snug. Plastic, unless you like strip plastic, and I know some people that would probably strip a lug nut on a Mack truck if you turned them loose on it with a wrench. So there you go. That's nice. Okay. Times like this when I realize, hey, it probably would have been real good if I put that on beforehand. Put it there. Start working my way around. I guess that's on. Next thing is the rest. I'm going to tighten it on here first. And then we're going to put it in here. And we'll hold it so it's close to the belt. And then let's tighten it down. That's the orientation it wants to run. So, that could be a showstopper. That's kind of odd because the Allen screw isn't even lining up with the flat. Let me see something here. That should line up with that flat. It looks like it's on it. I don't know if you could see that. That Allen screw is cone type. That cone type would be really good if it didn't have the flat and was round. So that way it would dig into it. But when you introduce a flat, it's going to ride down on the cone like one side or the other and make it cock. I went to Ace Hardware and I bought 6 regular Allen screws. You know, with the normal head that you would see. I know there's names for these, but basically it's kind of like a flat. Actually, it's a little recessed, but there's a flat around here. Now let's give this a try and see what happens if that straightens it out. Tighten that up on the flat the way it should be. And it's perfect. The next thing you want to do is adjust this distance here. So I'm just going to loosen the screw on the rest and adjust it. Now there's several things. Now this is, you don't want it like this. You don't want a big gap here. Say if something happens and your hand gets caught in there, it's just going to continue to pull it in. or if something else gets wedged in there. You don't want it touching either. To me, that would be a good gap. So I'm just going to lock it down. And it's close enough that if you did get anything in there, you're going to maybe sand the tip of your finger, but you're not going to get pulled in. Now, the one negative thing I did notice is these threaded holes were not threaded all the way down. And when I first put it together, the Allen screws would not touch the rod. So I did get it to work when I really cranked down on it. So what I figured I would do is just chase these threads and get that last little bit, which I just did. Okay, let's put that rod in and the rest. Now let's put it in here. Tighten it up. Okay, that's pretty square. That's good. The thing I will have to agree with everybody else is this piece of junk. That's the cheapest piece of plastic I ever saw in my life. But it'll work for now. So let's turn it on. Not bad. Okay, there's another type of rest here that was in the box. And what that does is it goes here. And it even comes with a little wrench. It kind of resembles the wrench that was in my old Honda motorcycle from back in the 70s. So, what the heck, I'll give their wrench a try before I grab one of my own. It works. I don't know if I'll keep this wrench with it. But what I assume this is for, I don't do a lot of woodworking, but I assume this is for when you're using this in horizontal mode. And again, I want to get this so that you're not going to catch a finger. What I assume this is for is if you're sanding a flat section, you can set it here and push down, and this will just keep it from going off the table. Let's give that a try. And I just have a 2x2. I don't see myself using that much. Take a wrench and just lock this down in the vertical. That way it doesn't push back. You can go around and do the back as well. Swing this up. And again, not too close and not too far. Gets in the way so you can't come over this direction. Imagine if this was up higher, you could. The other thing you could do is long standing like this, so you could do that with it laying down. Okay, this isn't a review because I haven't had it that long to do a thorough review. But overall, my initial impressions are pretty good on this. It's pretty favorable. There are some things that I had to do. One is I have the foam down there. One of their foam gym pads just folded in half so it's up against the wall that vibrated. One of these walls vibrates. So eventually, once I know this is definitely a keeper, I'll get some peel and stick foam or something and put it on the insides of them. Or I'll do something else to beefing it up. The other little thing was I used the pointy Allen screws. I put regular Allen screws, that was less than $5, and then on the ones here, I had to put a tap through it. So, which isn't too bad. Other than that, that's about all I had to do. The belt was pretty much adjusted out of the box. This thing's pretty chintzy, So, but I understand you can make or get another one of these pretty reasonably. To be quite honest, I don't know how often I'll be using that on here anyway. I hope you enjoyed the unboxing, the assembly, and the initial impressions. After I use it for a while, I will do a review of it to let people know what I think of it after I use it. So, but for right now, it seems like something that I could use. The price was right. It was about $170-something with a coupon. And it's nice to have a little sander like this in the shop. So, okay then. Well, thank you.